Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and let's be honest, it really wouldn't be right to talk about a movie called The Unicorn Store without wearing my rainbow unicorn onesie. Whee! I love this thing so much. This is just the greatest. I might take the hood off, though, just because it does interfere with, flipping the hair and stuff, and that's something that I just do for my own personal comfort sometimes. Anywho, so I watched the trailer. I actually watched it through twice for this movie, The Unicorn Store, which, if you're not familiar, this is Brie Larson's directorial debut. She has directed her own movie that Samuel Jackson is also going to be in, that she is shockingly starring in, because why would you just direct a movie when you can also star in it and do all of those things, even though she probably, by directing, is just standing on set being like, alright, I'm in charge, yay. Because no one needs to be in charge of the actual actors because she's just so good at it. Anywho, so I watched this through twice and I had some mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I'm watching this, I'm like, this is totally the kind of fluff, growing up, coming of age as an adult story that I'm usually really into, and there are elements of it that I really like. I love whimsy, I love fantasy, I love blending fantasy with reality. So I love the idea that there's a story that's going to give her a unicorn. It reminds me of the premise reminds me of a cutesier version of it was called Safety Not Guaranteed, which was an incredible indie film, which we haven't seen it. I think it's on places somewhere. You might be able to find it. Safety Not Guaranteed. It's a wonderful film about these people who respond to an ad to go back and to use a time machine, and a lot of the conceit of the movie was going through it and not actually knowing if this was something that was real or not, not knowing the rules. Can we bend reality to have this time machine be real, or is this all just sort of crazy? So I like that idea, I like that concept. Now there's one big problem with this film. That it stars Brie Larson, guys. And not every moment in this trailer is she awful or anything like that. There are a couple. A lot of the moments where she's just being whimsical and cute and sassy, she's very good at that. That's what she does naturally. It's sort of what she built her career doing, back in the early 2000s, being a little sassafras teenager. So that she pretty much has down all right. And she has that sort of, she actually did a really nice job, in her usually unmoving face, of capturing a lot of this whimsy, a lot of this sense of whimsy of this character. And then this stuff I absolutely 100% did not buy was any moment in which she complained about her life. The worst being, the absolute pinnacle worst being in this trailer is a moment where she confronts her parents. She's like, I get it. You're just disappointed in me because I'm not good at anything. Nah. And it was so wooden and fake and forced. And it really got me thinking a lot more about this chick. And I looked at other things as well. I watched, her interview, because this is the thing. This is one thing. I'm not doing this because you said we hating Brie Larson. I hate the comments that she's made. I disagree very intensely with the comments that she's made regarding her publicity tour and things like that, and around the release of Captain Marvel. But I'm actually on a journey to try to figure out how I feel about her aside from those comments. Sort of analyzing what I'm seeing and why it irks me. What about it irks me? I don't want to be one of those people who's just like, I hate Brie Larson because I hate Brie Larson. Well, if I really dislike her so much, why? I'm the kind of person that when I dislike something, I'm not going to sit there and just eat it up just for the sake of hating it, but I want to understand it. I want to be able to formulate a real opinion on it. And in some cases, like in this one, find empathy. Because the thing is, when we hate something so intensely, there's a reason for it. And a lot of times there's something, and very frequently there's things reflected back at ourselves, which is definitely comes into play with a lot of things. But then there's also things where it's just like, if you are that intensely intense about something, there's got to be something that resonates in it. And I figured out what it is. And some of it was watching this trailer, and some of it was watching, or solidified it for sure when I watched her little music video where she's working in a fast food joint. And the thing that rubs me the wrong way and irks me is that this is somebody who never worked for anything. She never really worked. She moved to Hollywood at the age of 7. She's been in the industry since then. So she's been in the industry her first jobs were working as an actress at the age of 8. So this is not someone who's ever actually worked in fast food to make a living, right? This is not somebody who's ever had that mid-20s post-college, I need to figure out my life and everything's falling apart. I got kicked out of art school. My dreams. This is not someone who's actually gone through these experiences. And And I think it irks me so much because she's this person who's running around there pretending like she has, trying to act like she has. And that's why her comments pissed me off so much, because she's trying to be this champion of feminism when it's like, bitch, you don't even know. Like, go around the world and spend time with women who are actually suffering. For fuck the world, go around your own country. Be with women or be around people who are suffering. Put yourself next to them. Put yourself near them. Listen to their stories and tell their stories. Don't run around telling your own as if it's the most virtuous, beautiful example of, oh my God, how you've struggled as a woman. Like, that's what gets me, is that she has this, and so then where the empathy comes in is what I realize is that she's not doing this because she thinks she's that great. She's doing this because she is an empty person. She is a shell of a human with this desperate need to belong. That's what I'm seeing in this music video, in this movie here, is that she never had those experiences, and she's trying to make these movies and this art to have them, essentially. Her only understanding of what it's actually like to grow up and struggle and exist in the real world as a real person with real problems, like working at fast food and having the popular kids at high school make fun of you while the cute boy ignores you. Like, that's first of all, the cute boy in her video doesn't even ignore her. It's not even that. It's not even the cute boy being like, you don't exist to me. It's the cute boy being like, you're hot, but too bad you gotta squish lemons instead of pay attention to me. So, like, her entire understanding of what it means to be that kind of person is warped. I think that's where the personal connection for me comes in, because I'm somebody, like, do I want to be that successful one day? Of course I do. I absolutely want to be that successful one day. And so there's always a low-key amount of envy for anyone who has those things, because I want those things and they have them. That's the definition of envy. I don't want to run around being like, I'm so jealous of you all the time. But the reality is that when I see people who have things that I want, of course, I'm going to be like, man, I wish I had that stuff. And that's real. But also I value the fact that I did not get that stuff when I was 8, that I've lived a life that has had trials, that has had setbacks, that has had real challenges, that has forced me to be a real person, to confront my identity, to confront grittier parts of humanity, to be around people who are not perfect, who don't have, obviously no one's perfect, obviously we all have problems, stuff like that, but to be around people who are not weren't born successful, who didn't always have nice things, and to confront that more real element of society in that way. Like, that's real people. So I'm getting to a point now where I'm not mad at Brie Larson for saying this stuff anymore. I'm sad for her. I'm sad for this little, that's what she is. That's the whole point of the unicorn store. The whole point of this movie is that here's this sad little girl who is stuck in her childhood, who just wants her childhood dreams to be real. And that's Brie Larson's reality. Is there was never any, I'm going to grow up one day and be this. She just already started out doing the thing, and now she grows up and she's still doing the thing. So where are those dreams? Where's the childish part? Where's the joy of taking the magic from your childhood and figuring out how to rechannel it into your life today? It's not there for her. It never was. Whatever magic there is for someone who's even 20 and steps on a big set for the first time. 25, anybody who actually went through being a kid and having hopes and dreams and desires and struggling, who gets there and gets to walk into that universe for the first time and be like, oh my God, this is my life. She doesn't get that. She is forever deprived of that experience by having already have that been like the reality of her life since she was a kid. And I feel bad for her for that. I'm so excited for a time in my life when that happens to me. And I know how meaningful it's going to be, because I'm going to stand there. I'm going to stand there on the top of the heap of everything I've ever done and everything I've ever worked for, and be able to look down from that point and say, I got here. I climbed here by myself. And she doesn't have that. She doesn't have that fulfillment. So one of the interesting questions I asked myself is, well, why? Because I watched Room, and I did think she was very good in Room. I'm like, well, how can someone who's never had these serious experiences relate to a character like that? I'm like, well, the character in Room, it's the same kind of story of somebody who lost their childhood, basically, and is having to cope with dealing with being in the real world without having grown up in a normal way. That's on the surface level, the actual stories are not similar at all, but on a deeper personal level, the character's journey, she can relate to 100%. That's the reality of trauma and suffering. Is obviously she's never gone through any trauma or suffering like someone who got kidnapped and forced to live in a shed and got raped by somebody. No, she's never been through any trauma like that. But her highest understanding of trauma is not ever having those normal kid experiences, not ever having having to learn about what it meant to be edgy and punk by watching people like Avril Lavigne, whom she so clearly is channeling in her music video. That her only experiences of how to struggle to be be a grown-up was playing that on in a movie. So that is her highest, version of trauma. So in that respect, that's her truth, that's her range, that's her depth. So that she can relate in that way. And I that makes sense to me now. But honestly, after watching the trailers for the Unicorn Store, I actually think I'm going to give this movie a watch. I really do. Because again, I'm curious. First of all, I do think there could be really enjoyable things about it. Samuel L. Jackson looks hysterical. And now I really want to know if there's an actual unicorn at the end. Of course. So, good job on the marketing there, guys. But I'm also just really curious now about this person. I have this newfound sympathy for her. Because I'm really starting to realize that she's just a person without a place and doesn't feel like she belongs in her skin as well as in her world, who's just desperately trying to grab on to this thing that she never had. So I'm really interested now in what that journey looks like. I feel like I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of Brie Larson. It's certainly not true. I'm gonna say that I've been converted from someone who just really intensely dislikes Brie Larson to someone like to sort of a curious observer, to someone who's like watching an animal in captivity, going, how is this animal to behave now that's in captivity? In what ways do we see it trying to connect with its wild roots, and in what ways is it just given up entirely? Like it's just sort of a detached curiosity now. So that's where my mind went today. That's what I was thinking about. Let me know. Check out the trailer. See what you guys think about this. Check out that music video. Oh my god. I have some thoughts about that. I might do an entire video just on the music video because I have some real thoughts about Brie Larson's music career. But anyway, so that's all. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and press the like button, suppress the like button, repress the like button, do whatever the heck you want to that like button. But remember, you don't need its consent because consent is not always sexy. God, I feel like a terrible person every time I say that. Also, there's a video popping up that says get involved with me. Make sure you click that video. Also, comment on this video, hit the notifications bell so you never miss a new video. The get involved with me video will tell you about my Patreon, my t-shirts, all sorts of fun stuff like that, my social media links, different ways to get in contact with me, so you can send me stuff like rainbow unicorn onesies as well. And that's pretty much where we're at today. So have a good one, and we'll talk again soon.